county level.
We are town manager.
10,000 new cases a week, which is 4 times the upper limit of high.
They're inside.
The way CDC.
Do you have a recording playing with that has Paul's voice on it?
On the safety resume meetings, March 1st is planned.
Thanks, Paul. And speaking of that,
I want to hit on some of the projects. Nettie, you want to talk to us a little bit about the Invincible history?
Thank you. How's that?
Can't hear Mitty.
Yeah.
You want a song now or later?
What's that?
Song now or later?
You want to sing us a song?
Yeah, Alan's.
Alan, all right, Alan.
Okay.
What are we going to sing today?
Why don't we join together in America the Beautiful, okay? A little patriotism here. Oh, beautiful, spacious sky, o'er amber waves of gray, o'er purple mountains majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
Hey, Alan, way to go.
And Bill, why don't you talk a little bit about the art raffle?
Okay, the art raffle is going gangbusters. Did you hear that? Gangbusters. Just a couple of highlights, not to bore you, but we have 16 or 17 items now with the potential of 20 if a few promises come through. We have a range of items from sculptures to paintings. In fact, Jackie and I are going up to Melfa after the meeting to pick up a sculpture from Copper Creations. Who's heard of Copper Creations? I would think David would. So I'm picking up the whale this afternoon, a whale carving. It's about $500. So we've got the merchandise. Jim is working on the website. Jim is a crackerjack in photography and technology. In fact, we had a photo shoot at my house Sunday, and we're taking a picture. We're taking at Jackie's house. I'm sorry. Jackie let Jim come in, and so we've got a duck decoy carving worth about $200-300 that Tommy O'Connor gave us. Is Rick here? Rick put us on Tommy. Well, anyway, you had to be there to see this. We've got the duck on the porch because Jim is very particular about shadows and lights and that. And Jim, right? Okay. Jim was. Oh, he's got his badge. Oh, I can't see that far though. Jim was laying on the porch with his camera so he'd get the right angle on that. So so we got the website coming along. We've worked out the tickets. Joan Natali has joined the committee. She's going to help Jim with getting the website up. And the really good news is each club member is going to be assessed $100. Now you can do your $100 a couple of ways. You can sell 10 tickets. They're $10 a piece. Or you can take the 3 for $25 route and make it easy on yourself. Paul Strong has told us just out of the blue, Paul has given us the goal of $8,000.
Because that's what we need.
Because that's what we need. Now, Randy isn't on the marketing team, so we won't be doing the big number that Randy did with the golf cart, but we're gonna give it a run. The first day of the raffle is March 22nd. That's a Tuesday, and so we'll have the tickets here at our meeting. We'll have a meeting here, won't we?
Yeah.
And the drawing is at the Lemon Tree, and Bill Murphy has arranged that on April 23rd. And you'll have a chance to pick from about probably 17 to 20 items.
Bill, as soon as you get the marketing stuff together, photos and stuff, let me know, because I want to take that over to Mary Ann and talk to her about if we can get some space, enough space for what they can do. And also, I'm going to try to get a hold of Ralph this afternoon and see if we can't get a date in the next couple of days to get the Turner and pick up that.
Yeah, because one of our really good items is a piece of sculpture from Turner. And that'll attract a lot of people, a lot of fans there. And Bill and Ralph Dodd worked real hard on that. So thank you, Bill.
Thank God, yeah.
Well, we know you'll come through, Bill. You don't want to not come through.
Now, I believe Jim is also working on the website to be able to do ticket sales directly. On
Yes,
the website
yes.
as
I
well.
didn't, I said website, but I didn't say it was a commercial website. And I woke up in the middle of the night, Jim, and I wonder how we're going to turn electronic transactions into tickets that go in the barrel, but I know we'll work that out. Okay, not to bring up a work item in the middle of a meeting. So Jim, would you like, since you're the smart guy on this, would you like to say something?
Everybody get their phones out. Phones out. Call up a browser.
I
And I
forgot my
want you
phone.
to type in on the browser, Charels Rotary.org, O-R-G. CapeCharlesRotary.org.
Jim, I turned my phone off because certain people like Tom Godwin will call you. $5 fine.
All right, well, let me tell you what you're gonna see. And you can look at mine if you can make out detail from this far away. But you're going to see, we now have a website. It's only 3 pages right now, but it is a link to the outside world. And it tells a little bit, about Rotary. There's an about page. It tells, and basically that's all material that was written by Paul Strong. It has a contact us page that is good. Thank you. It has a contact us page so other people can get in touch with us. And at the bottom of every page, it tells them where we meet, when we meet, and gives them an email address so they can also get in touch with us. So it's a start. And the very top,
Good to see you. Russ.
you
Good
will
to see you, Bill.
see, the very top, it's going to say buy tickets, view art for the Eastern Shore Art Raffle. Scroll down below that. That's just a call to action at the top of the front page. If you scroll down below that, you will see Paul Strong modeling a classic Rotary hat and cleaning up trash by the side of the road.
Yeah.
So then we serve, we learn, we connect, and at the very bottom, you just got some contact information. So enjoy it. And this hopefully, oh, look, there it is.
Yeah.
There's the picture.
That's what I've been doing.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great. Okay. So if you have ideas, have needs for it, let me know. The next step is going to be to actually turn it all on. And it is already set up to take money directly. So we will have e-commerce sales through the website.
And the picture that's up is Mark Clark's mother's painting.
Hey, yes. Your mom is the prototype page for that, and I will show it to you later. But thank you for that.
Okay. Thanks, Jim and Bill. Bill, while we've got you, we have a very special award for Bill Payne. Bill, can you please?
Oh, I
stand
got
up?
one of those.
Well, you're gonna have another. This is an appreciation for the 2 years in a row that Bill served as president of the club, above and beyond the call of duty. We had someone selected for the second year that when Bill finished up his first year, we had someone already selected, but a job changed that, and Bill stepped up to the plate and continued on up to the second term. So Bill, we really appreciate it. This reads, you set a new standard of service, leading at the highest level for 2 years. And that's from 2019 to 2021. And this is presented to Bill Payne.
This has Paul Strong written all over it.
name on the bottom, is that what?
Well, we gave it to him. Did we forget to change the plaque?
Hey, guys, it was fun. Thank God you can't do a 4th year. So I'm safe, but nobody else is safe in this.
Thanks again.
I'm gonna present this to my Jackie.
All right.
What am I supposed to do?
Put it on your wall.
Is she still at you in the house?
Hang it in our house.
I wasn't speaking to him when Jim came over.
And one other thing I want to bring up is we are going to start activating the chair people for coming out of this COVID thing, hopefully permanently now, and hopefully we're at the endemic stage of COVID. With that, membership is a big priority. Jim and I and Stan, who's the chairman of the committee on membership, met before this meeting, and we're already starting to put our heads together. And Jim Stannard walked in your door, and immediately, I'll be on that committee. So Jim.
You'll be in that. We'll let you know.
So Jim and Stan are looking for yet somebody else to serve on that committee. We're gonna actively.
I respectfully decline.
Okay, we're gonna be actively looking for new members. One of the things we're gonna be doing here shortly is setting up a little table over in Strawberry Plaza. And I will gladly be the first person to man it, handful of brochures, and hopefully snag a few members. Hi, Joan.
Are you gonna be at Cape Charles Day this Saturday in the park?
I can be.
That'd be,
What time does it go?
well, it's from 10 to 2, but I think that the tables are from 11 to 1.
So from 10 to noon will be the town cleanup, and
Right.
then it's noon till 2 at the park.
Okay, do I need to get a permit or anything for
I need
that?
to contact Julie through it in my office. She said.
They'll
she said
provide a
not to say
table
all
and
that.
chair.
Okay. Noon to 2. Saturday. Yeah, you're right, Joan, that'd be an ideal time. Okay, we're looking for more ideas like that. And we're looking for people to work along with Stan, he's the chairperson, to come up with other ideas and volunteer within the group itself, things that we can do to try and snag new members.
Let's stand talk.
I will. This is the best time right now. We're coming out of this endemic. And people are itching to get involved in the community and itching to talk and communicate and have some fun with other people. Stan, I'll let you tell it.
All right, why me? Hey, listen, everybody knows we're gonna have some fun, we're gonna have a good time, and I want everybody to just jump in there and give me a hand. I'm always available, everybody has my number, my email address and all that. But if you have any ideas, any ideas for signing anybody up, or some people who you think would be an asset to the club, which would be anybody. They take me. So, just come on back, and I'm always available. And Saturday, I think you said?
Yeah, Saturday.
Saturday in the park.
You too.
All right, Saturday in the park. Hey,
All right.
come on.
Bill will borrow your table. I've
No,
got
you don't
some
need a
of those
table.
yours, but I can use some more.
Julie will provide a table.
Okay.
Provide tables?
Okay,
I understand that they'll provide
But what
tables.
I'll provide are brochures.
yes, and a
Right.
banner, do we have the banner on your
Uh,
table?
Randy has the banner.
Okay.
I'll get it to you. That won't be your problem.
Stan, we've got a guest here. Introduce our guest.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Hello.
Last, I'm gonna pass around a sign-up sheet. So, pass around a sign-up sheet for the membership committee. Next week, we're gonna be talking about the service committee, I believe. The expectation is everyone will be, when we're done with this process, everyone's gonna be on two committees. So if you want to tell your friends about Rotary, please sign up today for the membership committee. Pass that around if you need.
If you don't want to be on two committees, that means you have to get more members so that we spread around.
There you go.
Okay, big challenge on the committee, women. Let's get more women involved. And not only get them in the club, but get them involved in the committees, get them involved in the board of directors, get them involved to be the president of the club. So that's going to be one of our key goals. Okay, I do want to introduce, somebody brought it up already. Make sure I introduce a guest today. Steve Keeler, and he's from Southwest Virginia area.
Harrisonburg,
Right.
Charlottesville, Richmond.
Who brought you today? Your guest is who?
So, Stanley called me,
Good.
cold call, Phil Custis called me from up in Mancock. I'm married, Shore, my wife Kate, with family.
I'm on two
Over
already.
James Wilkins, coming over here. Generations, and we love it. I've been here about a year, and it's interesting, you mentioned women. Kate is pretty active. She made me do this.
Reciprocate.
Why don't you join the Rotary Club, Steve? And I wanted to, and Stanley he was quick. Call couldn't have been nicer, and here I am. I was excited. This was your first in-person meeting, and thank you, everybody, for your hospitality and graciousness.
Okay, of course.
Let's hear it for Steve.
We do have an open invitation. for your wife. Please bring her with you, even as a guest. Okay. All right, we're gonna do happy dollars real quick, and then we're gonna.
When do we
break for
eat?
Lunch, and then we'll have.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go eat first. We'll do happy dollars then.
Yeah.
And we're gonna ask our guests, Steve
And John,
and John, to please go first, and then ladies.
especially you, John, because you're speaking. Get up there, John.
So.
Yes, our guests, all our guests. Go first,
People
please.
we have from,
You too, Steve.
do it on Zoom.
And the line is.
Then the ladies.
And the lady, oh, let's go. We have first
Hello,
Tom.
Okay,
Yes, you all are getting ready to eat, Bill.
yeah, we're getting ready to eat now. So do
Okay.
you want to just talk with me?
No, you can eat.
Oh, look who's looking in on you.
I see that.
You know
Now,
that
nobody
guy?
has
He's got a
commented.
mask on, so you might not recognize him.
I see. But neither one of you have commented on my new picture I put up.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said neither one of you commented on my new picture I put up.
I'm
wondering who that lady is.
Yeah, I like it. But still, why don't we have you
Well, one day,
right?
one day, yeah.
One day you might even come to a meeting, huh?
That's right, one day.
Diane,
Yes.
since I've never met you in person, I wasn't sure if the right picture was with the name.
I knew you were gonna have something to say.
You've never met Reggie?
He's the only person I've never met. Yeah.
Reggie is the best person in our club next to Joan and Jackie.
Yeah, well, that's what I hear. That's what I hear. Well, Tom, how are you doing today?
Did Al do his swimming marathon?
You're on mute. I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
hear
but
you. You're on mute, Tom.
it got disrupted a little bit because of bad weather.
He probably muted me. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, I hear you now.
Yeah, sometime they put me on mute.
Oh,
I really like
yeah.
that picture.
Well, thank you. I dug that out. It's more recent than the other one. But I haven't had
No, I'm
anything
happy.
taken since this pandemic, so that's the most recent one I had.
Yeah. Well, everything going okay?
Yes. It's a nice, pretty, sunshiny
I don't
day
know who's
today.
counting the number of people.
Right.
How's Max
Serge, you
doing?
counting the number of,
I said, how is Max?
It doing, but yeah, okay.
Bob, you in?
That was a good write-up. I haven't finished reading it. I got to read it again.
Doug, do you have a count?
About their
Do you have the count for the number of people?
No, that's what I was.
racial thing.
Murphy's gonna-
Oh, the one I sent you?
Yes, I thought it was good.
Yeah, yeah, that's a keeper. I need to print that out so I don't lose track of it.
He's in that building.
But I thought I thought it was a very good description.
Yeah, it's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jackie doesn't like quiche.
I'm trying to get over to Norfolk.
Doesn't like it.
I'm gonna probably go in a little while. Yeah.
I don't eat lunch.
You have a big day planned over there?
So what kind of salad you got, Jackie?
You have a big day planned over there?
No. I need to go get a battery, and I need to get a tire from a car, and I need to get.
Okay, you have to work out that out with the
You
president.
know, I got to carry my copy machine back.
Okay.
And
Oh, you mean that big copier sitting next to you?
You're opting out.
it's messed up. Yeah,
That's what we call opting out.
I had the scanner.
He's extremely accommodative.
You see the scanner?
Oh, you found it. Yes. Okay.
Yes. So I'm gonna see if I can get that working.
Okay.
That's like the one at the hospital.
Right. The handheld.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm gonna get it going.
Okay. Is that Stanley? Standing in front of our camera, that's Stan.
Doing a twist.
Yes. We've got it on tape, Stan.
yeah.
She can't drive it to the, if something happens,
Yeah, they can't hear us unless they're right in front of the laptop.
You can't?
No, because the speaker on the laptop's not that loud.
Oh,
But Bill can hear
that's
us.
what he's
We're
working
sitting
on?
right next to it.
Hey,
Hey,
Diane.
Stan, how you doing?
All right.
We were just admiring your dance moves.
You gotta come to the meeting and then we can do it in person.
That's right.
All right? I didn't recognize you for a minute there. You got a new picture.
I got a new picture. You're the first person to comment.
Am I? All right. I
Yeah.
love those glasses. You gotta come out.
Yeah, well, now you know me when I come. Well, you know me anyway because we met. But I think Reggie's the only person I've not met in person.
Really? Richie?
Yeah.
No. Okay. All right.
Yeah, he's the one. So what's on the menu today? What are you all having for lunch?
Quiche. Quiche. How you doing? You brought your own?
I don't.
It's quiche. Eggs, in other words. That's
Oh, okay. You're having a quiche. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy it.
I'm gonna see if I might take mine with me. Let me grab this one.
So, Bill Payne?
Yes.
You are no longer president.
That look like Ray Dodd over there. I don't know if it's him or not.
So then you stop trying to tell me what to do.
Uh,
Ask the president. I can tell you what to do.
Oh, you mean Ralph died?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought it
think
was,
that is him.
You should
yeah.
Said it was Reggie.
He's a
That
Yeah.
does look like him, yeah.
and he's really frisky.
Did you remove the cap and replace it? Oh. Who did you tell him? Yeah.
Jackie, we have to go back home. I forgot my phone.
That's really get them to come, not so much this meeting. Hey, come on and join us for lunch. Over at the coffee house.
Somebody broke in the car and stole all my Rotary pens. This is a Rotary pen. It's
I said,
like most of.
Diane, they had you muted.
I'm not muted now.
Okay.
I hear you.
open in the courthouse parking
A
lot.
lot of people are
Doing
here.
charity work for the education fund. And
I forgot who they said. Who's our speaker today?
Did I read something on Saturday, March?
worse than pens they stole. Stole that page purse that Jackie gave me.
To set up shop in Strawberry
Well,
Plaza. I
Tom
think
is
there's some
High
coming.
quality.
activities going
It
on.
looked brand new, didn't it, Jackie?
Fully up to speed on what exactly is going on.
you didn't
I
say.
think March 5th is something going on in town.
I think I did see something from Smitty Guys on that. On
Yeah.
Facebook. So let me double check on that. Yeah, you're right. That's a good idea. I'm not sure if it was March 5th, but I knew it was sometime in March, and I'll check that date.
Yes, it's March 5th.
Was that Reggie?
It's March 5th.
Okay.
Yes, I have a couple other.
Having their own conversation, right? So they possibly pick me up
That conversation.
Ongoing basis. There's some other areas that I'd like to just throw out. Organizations, for example, there's different types of organizations around for us to
I'm gonna leave
better
it.
plan.
I can't do anything about it. I can turn the speaker down.
To extend, to the members perhaps, to come and visit us at Rotary.
I'm not even doing that very well. I'm gonna send myself. Hold on.
Contact on first to, perhaps go to post that will make an announcement.
You need to call somebody, Bill?
Yeah, Air Baldwin, and I wanted to do it while we were on the road. Do you have his telephone number? Maybe I can go in your. You have his number, don't you?
I don't think so.
No, Joan does.
Oh.
Yeah, that'll save us, because I told the lady I'd be there at 2:00. Thank you. Joan again saved my chestnuts.
Oh, you had it. Joan has it.
Joan has every.
Everybody.
She's got Biden's number in there.
Biden. And Putin. Sit down and eat. Chuck?
Chuck, how about Happy Dollars?
You need to eat.
The president doesn't eat. He has to run the show.
That's not true. He needs to eat too.
Okay, while everybody's enjoying themselves, having a good lunch, why don't we do some happy dollars?
Okay, I have some Happy Dollars.
All right, I'm in.
I'm figuring it out. I have 10 Happy Dollars.
Okay.
I have 5 happy dollars just because I'm happy that we're all back again. But specifically, I have $5 for Rusty because we haven't seen Rusty for like years. So $5 for Rusty's return to the fold. Welcome back, Rusty.
Good to be back.
Okay, Bill, yours is
$10.
pledge, right?
It's being recorded if you need.
Okay.
And Rusty is 5 being recorded.
All right, Rusty, you want to say anything on behalf of the 5?
It's good to be back.
$10.
Okay.
What would you put? 10 for me, 5 for Rusty.
Okay. Next time you get it, I'm gonna make sure I have a whole house.
And I'm recording it too.
All right, any more happy dollars?
Yeah. I have, 10 happy dollars. Rice Leeds had a child last night. The child was 6 weeks early and there were all kinds of complications, but they're fine. She's still at the hospital, of course, but they're fine. So we are so thankful that the baby is here and living, and the mom is living, and they are progressing.
Great news.
That's
Hey.
$10 from Reggie.
Bill Murphy.
Okay, well, I started out, I didn't have any happy dollars today. As soon as I walked in, I've got 10 happy dollars. The first 5 is, I'm so glad you recognized my good friend and mentor here, Mr. Payne, for his second term. Have trouble talking, maybe I need to wait it around.
Because it's not important.
Yes, it is. I got $5 happy dollars from Bill's recognition for a 2-term presidency, because anybody that's been the president for 1 year knows how tough that can be at times, especially. But for Bill to do it 2 years in a row, and he did it without hesitation, that's pretty special, and I know we're all proud of it. You know, he hates it when I praise.
And a year and a half of that was with the whole pandemic.
And the other 5 is, this morning, I was so happy to see so many people for the first time out. I thought we had maybe 10 or 12. But what really brought it home for me was seeing the badges up there. And then when Alan stood up and we had the song, it's been 2 years since we've done that. And so I was thinking to myself, yeah, we're back. So I got $5 for that.
Oh,
Yep.
good.
$10 from Murphy.
10.
But
We should,
Yep. I've got $5 in the name of David Kabler, who jumped in on the speakers committee and signed up 3 people within a week.
Wow. Great.
Within a week.
One
Within a
day.
day. All right.
5
That's
minutes.
great. Okay, and here to tell you about our next speaker at Christmas will be David. Never mind. So also $5 for Joan Natale, who didn't even have to be asked, volunteered to help out with the art raffle online stuff. So I'm there for a total of 10.
Okay.
Jim Rich, $10.
Thank you.
I've got $10. I've got 5 from my friend Bill Murphy. Murphy apparently married way above his razor. You remember Murphy lost a bet and had to wear a West Virginia shirt, and he swears he had it on this morning. But his wife said it was too fancy and too silky to wear with those jeans. Now, which either means she's never been to Morgantown or he married somebody way above his razor. The other is, Sheila and I had a nice chat a couple nights ago with my second oldest granddaughter, who is a freshman, but probably a sophomore in ours at South Carolina University. And she had 7 classes this past semester, first semester in college. She got 6 A's and was very unhappy with getting a B. And I explained to her that I was in college 4 years. I think I got a B. I don't remember any A's. So we were very happy. So that's my $10. Randy.
$10 for John Burtis.
So I've got 5 happy dollars for Boss John's knee surgery. I almost took it back because I think Ginger left him in bed with his computer and he said email. Not email, so but the happy dollars, please stand for that. And $10 happy, just happy for all those friends, both in the Rotary and outside the Rotary, who made contact, support my wife. $15.
Sure, we got that. What's the total, Randy?
15 for Randy.
All right, any more happy dollars?
Yeah, hey.
He's adorable.
All right, look, I'm gonna come up with $20.
Whoa.
I just want y'all to bear with me for a second. Look, and I'm so glad to be back. Bill, thanks. You set such a high bar for service here.
Now stop.
It's just wonderful. But listen, I've got 10 grandchildren, okay, from 5 months to 28 years old. And the oldest has gone to college, graduated. I've got, the next in line is a junior. Then I have a freshman in college, got high schoolers, and all the way down to 5 months. But I'm taking care of my autistic grandson, who's 8 years old, for 10 days. And I'm taking him to school, and I've got his whole care in my hands. And I gotta tell you, a special needs child is a special child.
Yeah.
And I am so blessed to have this opportunity to be with him and to have his focus. And I mean, it's the essence of love I'm finding coming from this child. And so here's $20.
Well, David, he's blessed to have a grandfather like you.
So I'm
$20 from David Kabler.
10 times over, guys.
Bravo, bravo. All right,
He
any
gave
more happy dollars?
$20 bill.
Yeah.
You should
Okay,
record it,
with
so-
that,
I said
I'm
20.
gonna bring up John Hoadley. He's the
I'll say it
town
again.
manager of Cape Charles.
No, I meant David,
And he's gonna update us
cash.
on a
Yeah,
few
everybody
things
does.
We've all been hearing about a little bit
Yeah.
here and a
Oh, yeah,
little
we're
bit there.
supposed to get.
And when John's done updating us, any questions anybody has.
Yeah, because we're here. Here's my $10.
Is this good? Everybody see here and here? Well, good afternoon,
forgot to
everybody.
ask
Thank
if
you for
anybody
inviting me.
online
It's great to be here, especially on your first in-person meeting. That is exciting. We're starting to get back to normal. It's been very difficult for me. I'm almost up to 2 years for me as town manager on Saturday. It'll be my second anniversary.
Oh, great.
Almost that entire time has been in COVID. I got here about 4 minutes before COVID did. And so it's been very difficult, to meet people and to get to know people, and you're always on Zoom or on other meetings, and you do see somebody and your face is covered. And so forgive me if I don't recognize your faces, you've seen your faces. So, but anyway, I'm very happy to be in Cape Charles. There's a lot going on. This is a great community. I'll touch base with a couple of things. Probably the first thing that you've heard about is right here on Mason, the parking situation. So the reverse efforts. Before my time, we just had parallel parking on Mason. We needed more parking spots, so we tried to get parallel, the angle parking in. DOT wouldn't allow that. They said that was not safe. The only way they would approve it was with this back end parking. So not knowing any better, the town kind of grudgingly said, okay, we'll take that. Well, it wasn't very long after this happened that we started getting lots and lots of complaints. There's a lot of dissatisfaction with it. People just aren't accustomed to that maneuver. And what a lot of people don't realize is that there's a lot of, and we hear this from the merchants on Main Street a lot, is that people aren't used to doing that. There's a lot of little finger beggars, people who don't know how to back in and get in the cars next to them. So even if you are a good driver and do know how to back in, you don't know if the person parking next to you is going to have the same capacity. So there's been a lot of dissatisfaction with it ever since it got put in place. So the town's gone through a number of efforts to try and get it reversed so we can go straight in. DDOT has dug their feet in and just would not allow the design exception. We finally made a counter proposal on the safety and said, well, that's part of the problem is visibility. If you're coming in off one of the north-south streets trying to turn on Mason, and these cars parked out, it's hard to see. So I said, well, let's address the safety issue by maybe limiting the size of the vehicles, and we proposed, well, let's just eliminate trucks, because how many times have you seen a pickup truck out there way out into the drive lane, it's just not safe. So we said, would it be okay if we just limited that? Well, they kind of bid on that, except for they took it, they anteed up. They said, okay, we'll agree, but in addition to pickup trucks, you have to eliminate minivans and SUVs too. Well, that's 80% of the vehicles on the road. So took it to town council, they talked about it, and they didn't like it, but we just didn't think it was gonna work to eliminate that many cars from the empty spots. Now, there's other places they could park, they can park on the municipal lot to the south and all of that, but DOT just wouldn't go. So anyway, that's where we are. Unfortunately, after years of trying, the council finally told me to terminate all efforts to get the design exception. Back in parking is what we're gonna have for the foreseeable future. That's unfortunately where we are with that.
John, did I hear that you did get some feedback from residents and businesses that were sort of in favor of leaving it alone?
Oh, yeah, well, the longer it's there, the more people are getting used to it.
Yeah.
And so the place from locals that have kind of dropped off a little bit, we still get a lot of visitors every summer though. But also you might have heard, we hear this all the time, as a possible alternative to reversing the reverse was, well, why don't we just make Mason one way? You know, you just have one way coming west on Randolph and one way east on Mason. That solves everything. You don't even have to change the striping. It's already in the right direction, right? Well, we tried that too. DOT put the kibosh on that. They wouldn't allow that either. So this is one of many things we tried to do to fix it, but after a lot of time and energy and effort and some money, it's unfortunately back where we started on that.
Does that include the pickup trucks as well?
For what?
Parking.
Nothing's changed. Everything is just the way it's always been. So, yeah. Other than that, we've got a couple really big things going on in town right now. I'm sure you probably have heard of effort. We've received unsolicited proposals to purchase our utilities, our water and wastewater utilities. We're also in the process of doing a major update to our comprehensive plan. And we're also in the process of doing a major update to our historic district design guidelines that the board uses to approve everything in the historic district. These are big efforts, things that we don't have capacity on staff to do, so we've had to hire consultants for all of them, and they're all going on simultaneously. So, yeah, so when people ask, well, why don't you join the Rotary Club? Well, that's why. Bill, like Stevie Bill, when the dust settles, I would love to do that, but he's disillusioning me, telling me the dust will never settle. Anyway, so on those three big things, I'll start with the utility sale. About 18 months ago, I was only on a job maybe 2 months. We got a private utility company come in and give us an unsolicited proposal. We weren't looking for it. They came to us and said, hey, would you be willing to sell your utilities? Give us a proposal. There's a process in state code that allows us to evaluate that. It's called the PPEA process. And according to that law, when we get an unsolicited proposal like that, we have to advertise that we got one so that other people can provide an unsolicited proposal if they choose to. So we did. And when we did that, we got a second proposal. And so now we have two proposals we have to evaluate. I'm not smart enough to do it. So we had to hire a consultant to help us evaluate these proposals. And the terms of the proposals were confidential because they were offering, you know, financial considerations and rates and other things that the other proposer didn't know, right? So these were things that the council had to evaluate with the help of our consultant outside the public view. And that kind of created some disconcern about what was going on because it took such a long time. Eventually the council, they interviewed both of them in executive session, had them evaluated with our consultant, and the council had to use their judgment to decide which of these two proposals they wanted to advance to the next phase, which is the public phase. So we had two proposals, it was Aqua and Virginia American Water. And the good news was that our consultant told us that if we're gonna pick two companies in the whole world to compete for our systems, those are the two we would want. They were both very good firms. They were both very reputable companies. We would have done well. We could do well with either one of them. And so when council trying to pick between them, it was more of a, what's the best fit for us? What felt better, kind of a thing. And then they chose Virginia American Water was the one they chose to advance and bring forward. So that was at the end of last year. So we've been spending since Christmas trying to involve the public and trying to get everyone caught up on what we've been doing for the last 18 months. And I've been putting out a series of messages, and I know it's a lot to read, but you can't cover it all in one message. So anyway, so we've been putting out a lot of information. We held a couple of town hall meetings. And the council now has to decide whether to go to the next phase. So the first phase was to just kind of decide which of these two we're going to go to the public with. Now, the next phase would be, do we want to actually sit down and negotiate an agreement with this company? Because none of the fine details that are known yet. We wanted to find out from the public first what the concerns were, and do we even continue this discussion? So the council is going to be meeting this Thursday evening. They're going to discuss what they've heard at the town hall meetings and hopefully give me direction one way or the other, either to end the process or to take the next step and sit down and start negotiating an agreement. Now, if they tell me to negotiate an agreement, and once that agreement is conceptually agreed to by both parties, then it's public again, right? And then we'll have another discussion with the public. You'll get to see the agreement, you get to read the agreement, you get to ask questions about the agreement before the council would actually vote on it. Let's say we do that. Let's say the public's okay. Let's say the council's okay. That's still not the end. Then that agreement's got to go to the State Corporation Commission. This is a this is a regulated entity. It's got to be approved at that level. And so it's just a very long, detailed process. Why are we looking at it? And I don't want to come across as having an attitude of advocacy. I'm not. I mean, it's my business to be a municipal manager, so my natural tendencies is to, control, right? That's just kind of my natural tendency. But I've been forced to look at this because as I look at our utilities operate under what's called an enterprise fund, okay, which means everything's got to balance. All the costs for running it have to be offset by all the fees, all the rates collected. They have to balance. You don't supplement this with other revenues. It's got to balance within the enterprise fund. The problem is it's an expensive operation. We only have about 1,000 people to split the cost between. So if you look right now, independent studies done as far as municipal utility rates go, Charels is already above average for the state of Alaska, for the state of Virginia. So we're already high on our rates, and we'd like to think we have a new wastewater plant, but it's actually getting kind of old now. It's starting to need maintenance. It was built in 2012, but now we're 10 years into it, and it's starting to need maintenance. As more infrastructure, more investment is needed, okay, that's going to push rates up again. We also need better oversight. Nothing against my people running the plants. They're wonderful operators. They do a great job. But we need someone who understands the engineering, who understands the compliance issues, all of those types of things that our local people were never trained to do. Because we're having compliance issues with regulatory agencies like DEC that we just got hit with a fine. It wasn't for anything big, it was for a bunch of little stuff. But still, that's $22,000 hit. Guess where it's going? Your rates. So if we keep it, not only do we have the issue of trying to come up with capital for future needs, we probably would need to go out and put out an RFP for a management firm to come in and help us run. Okay, well, fees for that management firm, the rates go up. What Virginia American Water brings to the table is that they have almost 400,000 customers, and they have a consolidated rate for the entire state, meaning that they can help spread this out over everybody. So under their proposal, rates would actually go down. And they have the capital, they have the ready capital to make the investments in the system when needed. You can draw your own conclusions about the pros and cons. Obviously, we would lose direct control, right? We would be selling our utilities to a private company. That's something to consider. But they're regulated. They can't do anything without going to the SEC. And we can make cases to the SEC. And the role of the SEC is to protect the ratepayer. That's the number one reason for existence. They're not there to favor the company. They're not there to favor the town. They're there to favor the ratepayer. That's what their mission is. And so that's what we're evaluating right now. And that's why we're evaluating it, because if we keep it, I just don't see any way forward where rates don't continue to go up. And it's going to be a struggle to maintain it in the way it needs to be maintained. Having a professional company come in and take it, it could be run well, and our rates could be reduced. So there's pros and cons there that you need to evaluate for yourself, and I encourage you to please let your council members know what you're thinking about this. So anyway, that's where we are on the utility sale. Next decision point is this Thursday. If they tell me to go to negotiations, I have no idea how long that's going to take. It could take a while, but we'll keep you informed on that. The next big thing is,
John, before you go on to the next, can we ask questions?
Sure.
Because I won't remember. So I have a question. How much capacity is left in our plant now such that we could bring on more people and lower average rates?
that's an excellent question. So one of the things that our consultant did in evaluating the proposals was I also had them build a status quo model. What does it look like if we keep it? So we can compare it. You have to build in assumptions into that. And the assumptions is what's the growth rate going to be? Because that's how things survive so far. Rates have really not gone up a whole lot since, well, they went up like over 50% when the new plant was built. Haven't gone up a whole lot in the last 10 years because of two things. One, it's a new plant, didn't require a lot of money. And two, we've been surviving on growth. When you project that forward, even when considering the aggressive build out of Bay Creek, even when taking that into consideration, the amount of growth does not compensate for the additional cost that's going to be needed. So that was already figured into this. With regard to the question to capacity, this plant was very well done. It was well designed. It was built for incremental and relatively inexpensive expansion. So we're not really close to our capacity on wastewater at the moment. And when we get there, expanding it shouldn't be too bad. Actually, our limiting factor is water. Water is where we're closest to reaching capacity. On 4th of July weekends, we're manning the water plant 24 hours a day and just barely keeping up. So, and those wells have been in service for quite some time, and the longer the wells are in service, the lower quality the water tends to be. So, so that was another reason. And our withdrawal permit is up for renewal in 2 years. That's a big deal, getting that done. And again, I don't have the expertise to do that. So to have a company who knows what they're doing come in and get our withdrawal permit is a big deal. There's a couple of short-term things we can do to fix water capacity. We do have a couple of wells that have already been identified and drilled, called the Keck wells out there on the Cassette Parkway. We just need to connect them. That would help. But we still we'll still eventually run into capacity at the plant itself. It's not just the water coming out of the ground; it's also running through the plant. So we're doing it, and actually we have a study in the field right now, which I don't have the results back yet, but it's in the field right now to give us better numbers on those capacity figures.
Thank you.
John?
As I understand it, because the town has enterprise system for the utilities, the land also is not taxed for real estate purposes because the town owns it.
Correct.
Town doesn't tax itself.
Correct.
If the town were to decide to sell to American Water, does that mean that they will also purchase the land and then that the land will be taxable real estate income back to the town and the county?
So yes, we would be selling all the infrastructure. So that includes the physical facilities and the land it sits on. That would become private, and yes, it would be taxable.
So there are probably a few people that remember here, but in the 90s and past, and even in the 2000s, in spite of the fact that it was improper, the enterprise zones here were both being funded by the general budget. They were not charging it. And so it first caught up when they built the new plant, finally reconciled the fact that it's not appropriate to run the enterprise fund short because you're not charging the right rate. So there was a learning curve there. There's a learning curve in this thing too. Sounds like in the beginning, it may be a nice curve going the other way a little bit for change. How much is the trash pickup in the standard bill?
It's somewhere, I want to say somewhere around $15, somewhere in that range.
Okay, so $100 is our water and sewer bill, roughly. Okay.
Yeah, the consolidated rate for American water and sewer right now is somewhere in the 70s.
Wow.
So over time, now again, American Water can't set the rates. The SCC is the only one who can set the rates. So what's on the table right now in their proposal is that they would guarantee that the rates would not increase. Then they would have to go to the SCC and make a case to start bringing the rates in line with the consolidated rate. And that's up to the SCC to decide if it happens and when it happens.
SEC, that's not the Securities Exchange Commission.
No, the State Corporation Commission. It's a Virginia State Corporation Commission.
SEC?
CC.
Oh, okay.
So if I understand correctly, there's no guarantee that the water rates will actually go down.
There is, no, it's not a guarantee, but it would be incredibly unlikely for them not to. Again, the SCC's role is to look out for the ratepayer. If what we can build into an agreement is that we can't build into an agreement that the rates will go down, but what we can put into the agreement that they will make the case to the SCC. Okay. Once that case is made to the SCC, what would the SCC use to deny it if the rates are going to go down? I can't guarantee it, no, but it's likely.
So the town could benefit from bigger tax base, lower water rates. What does it get for selling the plant?
Good question. There's a new state code that has come out. It's called the Fair Market Value Act, and the town of Waverly is going through it. They're the very first town in the state of Virginia that's going through this right now. So, we're watching them very closely to see how that works. The way it's supposed to work, according to legislation, is that there's 3 appraisals, professional appraisals done. We do one, Virginia Water does one, the SEC does one. The average of 3 together, that's the fair market value. That's the purchase price. What Waverly's finding out though is the SEC is monkeying around with that, and it's not, and the legislature's not really thrilled with it because that wasn't their intent. The SEC is saying, okay, well, we're going to wait the proposals, and they took, actually, it's Virginia American Water who's involved with the Waverly one too. So they have their 3 appraisals, and the SEC's decided, well, we're only going to assign 25% value to Virginia Water, 25% value to Waverly, and 50% to ours. So there's, again, they're the very first ones going through, and if the legislature doesn't like that, they may, can't do it this year, but next time around, they may actually put legislation in, force them to do it the way they intended. But bottom line is, it'll be driven by professional appraisals. I'm not going to speculate on what that is going to be, but there is definitely value there. Okay, there's an inherent value to the land itself. We built those plants with grants and low interest loans. We've been making debt service payments on them for a long time. Yes, we still have debt, but there's also equity there. So when this is done, if we do it, in addition to rates going down, we'll get capital that the council can then use for any other municipal purpose. Right now, when we build our budget, part of our budget is our capital budget, right? That capital budget comes out of your property tax pool, right? So we could potentially offset the need for a capital budget for a number of years, lowering your property tax as well. So this sale could potentially not only reduce your utility rates, but also potentially your tax rates.
What percentage of is the capital budget?
Well, it depends on it. It's very
of tax.
It varies year to year, and since I've been here, we haven't had much of one. I mean, we were actually in deficit when I got here, so we struggled. So we're doing just a bare minimum that we need right now. So if this goes, that's another question that will come forward about what are we going to do with the proceeds? Well, what we're going to do with the proceeds is going to be a public discussion. We don't know yet, so we don't even know how much we'll get out of it. So we will have to have public meetings and work sessions with council where we put together, these are the community needs, and everyone will have a chance to comment on them.
John, you mentioned personal property tax. Real estate taxes. I think everyone probably got their new assessments yesterday. And everybody I've spoken with so far saw a significant increase, very large increase. Do you know if there's any plans or any thought given to the town or the county to sort of do a reconciliation to keep those dollar increases from being so much, or is that set for this year already?
No, it's not set for this year by either the county or the town. Yes, so what the town has historically done, for as far back as I can research, for at least 12 years before I got here, they always rebalanced. So as assessments went up, tax rates went down, so the revenue stayed the same. Sounds good, but the cost of doing business goes up. And we found ourselves in a hole because we kept cutting the tax rate. And then by the time I got here, boom, we were in a problem. We had to raise taxes for the first time last year. Ironically, we raised it to right where it was back in 2017. If we had left it alone in 17, we would have been fine the whole time. So, but none of us anticipated then or now huge increase of this year. I mean, this is unprecedented, the increase this year. I just got my bill too, so I know what you're talking about. So, so yes, I imagine there will be some rebalancing, but what I took to council, I've done a lot of strategic planning with council since I've been here. We did a general strategic plan, but as part of the budget, I'm also proposing a strategic revenue plan. You know, we have to plan for what revenue we're going to need. Obviously, at least inflation, right? It's a minimum. You got to at least plan for inflation. So we need to kind of project out what we anticipate our growth is going to be, what our capital needs might be, project it out, decide this is the amount of revenue we're going to need going forward. Then balance to that, not balance to zero, but that was the problem before, but balance to the strategic plan of what revenues we're going to need. And we're still trying to determine it. But so I can only speak for the town, but that will be my recommendation to the town council, is we balance down to only what we need. I hope the supervisors will do something similar.
John, we have time for one more question.
Can we give him about 10 more minutes special? Because he hasn't even touched his other 2 points.
All right. Everybody, go ahead, sit tight, ask your question.
Well, I was wondering what is in it for the company? Why does the company want to do that?
That's a good question. Again, it's kind of a win-win situation. We get benefit from the larger rate base, but they also are allowed to make a profit, right? So when they go to the SEC and make a rate case, they're allowed to figure in a set profit margin. And when they make capital investments, they get a return on that capital investment, and that's how they make their money. So by investing in our system, they get a defined rate of return on those investments, and that's how they make their money. So it's kind of a win-win.
Are they looking to monopolize the business?
Well, it would be a monopoly. I mean, it would essentially be a local monopoly. It wouldn't be anybody else doing it, but it's a regulated business. They can't just arbitrarily raise the rates. They have to go to the SEC. Any other questions on utilities? I won't take up a whole lot, just to make you aware of it. We won't get deep into it because we're running out of time. But the other two big things that we're doing is the historic district design guidelines rewrite. There's been a lot of consternation over what you can and can't do if you live in the historic district with regard to homes. And the old guidelines weren't written well, and there was all this confusion between, well, is it a guideline or is it a rule? is that if it's a guideline, it implies discretion. If it's a rule, it means there's no discretion. Well, if it's a rule, I don't need a board of human beings. My zoning administrator can say yes or no. It either meets the criteria or it doesn't. If it's going to a board, it implies there's some discretionary there. So the guidelines were just not well worded. So we're in the process of completely redoing the guidelines. We've got a historic consultant who's helping us do that. We've been through a couple of processes with the public already. We did a survey last fall. We're working through draft 1 now. When draft 2 comes out, that'll come out for public review. So keep an eye out for that, probably April or May. Take a look at that and give us your thoughts and input on design guidelines for the historic district. The other big thing is the comp plan. We're late on that, but a lot of people are late because of COVID. It should have been updated in 21. So we're now trying to really kick it into 22. Again, we've hired a consultant to do that. This is really critical too. Town has changed so much. We're supposed to do it every 5 years, right? Big changes in the last 5 years, right? And we've conducted surveys. We did a survey last fall, community survey, that really kind of showed where we are. You know, the number of people who live here who are retired versus, you know, people who travel back and forth, and it really help us show who we are as a community. So it's really critical that we take growth into account, where we want to grow, how we want to diversify, do we want to diversify our economy, all those questions. So it's really critical. This comprehensive plan update is really a critical one. A lot of work. Now, the Planning Commission was doing this just prior to COVID. A lot of work was done in 2019. That work hasn't gone away. We hired a consultant to take that and run with it. We're not repeating all that, but we're refreshing it. So as we get into that this summer, there'll be public opportunities for review of that too. So again, please stay engaged on both the historic district guidelines and the comp plan update. Historic guidelines will probably be first, early summer, comp plan, late summer, but we really need you to pay attention to that and give us your input. Any questions on either of those?
John, can we go back to the utility for a second? On the down the road, this will be part of your comp plan too, I think. And I may be wrong about this. There are public service districts that can be configured by a county or a municipality that might expand utilities, and people would have to pay a minimum bill when they hooked up or not, that kind of stuff. This private company would not have that same authority, would they? I mean, they could induce somebody to join them, but they can't arbitrarily expand without, who would approve
It's a
that?
little different than a municipal process, but
Okay.
it's still a set process. It would have to find an area. It would have to go to the SCC. They probably have to get a certificate of needed necessity.
Okay.
And then the costs and benefits, the costs and expenditures all have to balance within that group.
Okay.
So, that was one of the questions, was whether or not, you know, there would ever be a regional system for the lower shore. I've talked to HRSD about that. There just isn't the density. It just doesn't pencil out right now. At best, maybe go to 13, maybe a little bit up and down, maybe Sheridan, maybe Eastville. That's about it. A shorewide, lower shorewide is many years in the future. But we will, what I did promise both county officials and I talked to HRSD about it, is it should the county ever want to put together a regional system, and assuming maybe someone like HRSD would come in to run it, we would work out in our agreement now a mechanism for that to happen. In other words, Virginia Water could take it and process it without owning the collection system, something like that. You know, so that it would just have to be by mutual agreement, and again, it would all have to be approved by the SEC.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions? Any other updates?
Thank you.
I say keep them for a third year. Don't you?
John will definitely have you back probably at the end of the year when some of these things are all worked out.
Tell me when and where, I'll be here.
Okay.
All right.
Really appreciate you stopping in. All right, anybody else have any other questions? We will meet again here next week. And again, we We will continue with the mask and so forth, but hopefully we'll see after next week. I think Paul said he was going to check and we may be able to start dropping some of these things that we don't like so much here soon. Everybody be safe out there and remember to call, invite your friends and neighbors. We're looking for members. And I'll send out something after I call John's office and we see that we have a table scheduled for this weekend. And anybody wants to come and help us promote Rotary Club and see if we can pick up a few members, you're welcome to come by. All right, if there's nothing else, why don't we all stand? Things we say or do. Number one, is it the truth? Number two, is it very all concern? Number three, will build goodwill and better friendships. And number four, will be beneficial to all concerned. When we have Stan here today, give us number 5 in person.
Will we have fun?
Hey, one thing, we have a service project. Get those cans out there back here for Roberta.
Okay, Randy, just to know,
All right, thank you, Bill.
We'll see you guys.
Bye.